Okay, when does real estate buyer demand come back? This is one of the biggest questions I get all the time. Obviously, it declined precipitously when the interest rates skyrocketed. It changed the face of real estate for a very, very long time. The reason why it changed isn't necessarily from the overall impact to the cost of the mortgage, although that is a big chunk. One of the things is you have to backtrack out from when a buyer actually starts their conversation in their head about purchasing a home. One of the statistics that we use consistently to try to measure that is what's called the mortgage application rate. So this is a public information usually put out by the Mortgage Bankers Association that lets us know how many people have applied for a mortgage. That's usually a 60 days, maybe a 90-day lag time from when people are making offers and closing on homes. And it's kind of how we predict the future in the short term on what buyer demand will look like. However, when someone applies for a mortgage, that is not when the conversation started about when to purchase the home. Usually that mental process starts a year and a half or even 2 years before they actually apply for a mortgage, right? You're sitting in your rental property, you're looking at it, you're going, you know, it's about time we think about renting. What's that going to look like? Then you start your Google search, right? You start looking on Zillow, you start looking on all the free pop-up ads for mortgage calculators and thinking about what can I afford, right? You'll plug in, my rent's $1,800, I'd like to stay around that. And then you put in a mortgage calculator to tell you what you can afford. You then take that number, let's say it's $400,000, you go back to Zillow, you change your search criteria, and it spits out what you qualify for. Then you start your search. Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, we could be here, maybe we could buy this, maybe we could be here, maybe we could buy that. However, because that starts, you have this idea of what you can afford when interest rates are 3.5%. Fast forward, mortgage rates go to 6.5%, 7%. You go fill out your mortgage application and it spits out a number that is so far below what you thought it was going to be when you started your search. You're dejected, you give up, you throw in the towel and you say, okay, before I was looking at a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in Gilbert with a pool and nice school district. Now at 6%, I'm in a condo in Santan Valley. Right? This is not something people were willing to concede on, right? They had in their mind what they were willing to do. They wanted to at least move into a house reflective of maybe the rental property that they were in or live close to work. Interest rates skyrocket and just kick you in the gut on what you thought you were going to get, and you stop that process. That was a major impact with interest rates, not just the affordability. So theoretically, if we had let's say, normal buyer demand, we would have just seen a shift in the number of buyers in each price range. So we would have just seen a consistent increase in how many people wanted to buy, for instance, a condo. We would have seen this massive increase in buyer demand. But we didn't see that, right? A lot of those buyers just completely eliminated from the market because they weren't willing to buy what they now qualified for. So the question of when does buyer demand come back? Buyer demand, and again, we're theorizing here, so this is all a projection. Buyer demand will hopefully come back when that 2-year time frame has gone by and we kind of forget what the market was like when the free money was just being given away. So when buyers start that theoretical purchase process and they go look on Zillow, they go look at a mortgage calculator and they figure out what they can apply for today's rates, and they plug that back into Zillow and they go, oh, well, all I can qualify for is a condo, maybe that 1.5-year search, that plan to save for a down payment, where they think they can move, what job they take, wrapping their head around a longer commute. All of those things start to become normalized so that when they go to fill out a mortgage application, now they're back in the realm of reality from when they originally started the purchase and they accept what the new normal is. We're getting to that point now, but people still remember, they still have friends and family that are with these mortgage rates that are substantially low. So I don't think it's a time constraint relative to when mortgage rates peaked. I think some of the normalization of that process is going to take longer. But theoretically, that's when I would expect more buyer demand to come back, when these normalized interest rates become what people are expecting moving forward. So that's when I think buyer demand will come back. If you have any questions, give me a call.